Charlie?
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
Welcome to the program on a rainy, wet, sloppy, windy, cold, nasty Monday afternoon. Glad to have you along with us. Bringing a little sunshine into this otherwise dark and dreary day. Sheila and I were sitting in the living room this morning, and she was like, "What is it? Time to go to bed? What is it? I mean, how dark is it going to be out there?" Yeah, it's a nasty day out there. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. I spoke at the Back to Basics breakfast, which is a great event. It was the last one this year. They're going to crank that thing back up in January. Out at the Golden Corral on North Pleasantburg. Great crowd there. And I got to say, thank you so much to the lady that came up, and she scurried off before I could get her name. But she came up and she gave me a silver Trump coin. And it was really cool. It's got Donald Trump on the front and the White House on the back. But it was, I didn't realize it because I was just like, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But this is an ounce of silver. This thing's worth like $52 now. I haven't checked the price of silver today, but yeah, thank you so much. That was very, very nice. Well, here we are in day 27 of the government. No, we'll rephrase that. The Schumer shutdown. Because that's exactly where we are. And people all over this country going to start losing SNAP benefits and a lot of other benefits. And we all know exactly whose fault it is. It is the Democrats, pure and simple. All the Republicans, except for one, have voted for this bill, this clean resolution. And I think the Democrats are starting to panic. Because I think initially they thought by standing up to Trump, they were going to endear themselves somehow to their base. And that endearment was going to carry them through the midterm elections. But just like every other plan that the Democrats always try to pull off against Donald Trump, apparently this is backfiring against them pretty badly. So we'll talk about that coming up. But I fully believe, just watching some of the stuff over the weekend and keeping up, folks, I think I don't think I'd be too far off if I said we are closer to socialism in this country than we have ever been. And what is the old saying about money? I asked, how'd you go broke? And the guy said, well, slowly at first, and then all of a sudden. That's kind of the way you go socialist. That's the way socialism creeps in. Slowly at first, and then all of a sudden. And then it's too late to go back. When you look at who we have running for office in Zohran Mamdani in New York, Omar Fattah in Minneapolis, you got AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Bernie Sanders. Now you've even got Kathy Hochul in New York out there campaigning for Mamdani. Hakeem Jeffries has said he's supporting Mamdani. Those are going to be two socialist cities, Minneapolis and New York. And again, my wife and I was talking about this over the weekend. When you look at what New York is, it is one of the two major financial centers of the world, New York and the city in London. And the city in London is a district in London within the city of London, but it's called the city. And that's where all the finances are done. If New York goes socialist, you're going to see all of these financial institutions leave that city. And they will no longer be the financial hub of the globe. Now, where they'll go, I don't know. I have no idea. But that's going to be disastrous. And and that's the thing about socialism. I mean, it always sounds so good Everybody shares the wealth. Is Zoran Mondani going to share his wealth? Is he going to share his family's wealth? Of course not. Bernie Sanders doesn't share his wealth. Ilhan Omar doesn't. AOC doesn't. That is going to be a disaster. But I think we are closer to socialism now than we have ever been in this country's history. And it's going to be dangerous. But again, this is something you can sell to the masses. They were at one of the Hochul, well, it was a Mondani event over the weekend. Kathy Hochul was talking, and the crowd was yelling, tax the rich, tax the rich. Rich already is taxed. The top 1% of wage earners in this country pay 26.1% of taxes. That's the top 1%. The top 6% pay 44.9%. The top 10% of wage earners pay 59.2%. The bottom half pays 3.7%. And remember, 40% of Americans pay zero income tax. Zero. So if you're going to tax the rich, I think the rich are going to turn tail and leave New York City. Where that will leave everything? Well, I don't know. What's going to happen to Wall Street? What's going to happen to all those? I don't know. I don't know. But the Democrats, they create chaos everywhere they go, and it is not stopping. When we get back, Democrats, like I said before, are starting to panic over this shutdown. We'll tell you why. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, it's Tara. I do the homework and give you the facts every morning starting at 6 on The Tara Show. Only on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
up and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Democrats are starting to panic over the shutdown, especially now that the USDA says SNAP benefits are going to expire for about 41 million people. Anywhere between 4.8% and 21.2% of each state's population was on SNAP back in 2024. 41 million Americans will go without food stamps next month if Congress does not vote to reopen the government in time, according to the USDA. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they're starting to panic because even the folks over on the mainstream media are actually starting to ask the hard questions to the Democrats. They're starting to point out the obvious, especially over at CBS, and I think that is fantastic. Because after Barry Weiss got over there at CBS, she's going to take that network into I won't say conservative arena, but certainly a more neutral arena. Even Margaret Brennan was asking some tough questions this weekend to Hakeem Jeffries. So they're very worried right now. They're extremely worried about what's going on because this is, and rightfully so, it's their fault. This is what Mike Johnson said about the Democrats today.
What we're witnessing is truly the end of the Democratic Party as we've known it. And even some Democrats are now saying that out loud. You can see it in their interviews. I watched one last night. All this is directly related to the Democrats' shutdown show. Why? Because just like they decided to save their own skin, that they had to endorse the Marxist Mandami in an unprecedented move, they have also decided they had to shut down the government in an unprecedented move. No matter the pain it inflicts upon hardworking American people, they were simply more afraid of the Marxists in their party than they are of voters.
And that is the absolute truth. That is the absolute. They are more afraid of the Marxists in their own party than they are concerned with the American people. I want you to listen to this. This is a retired federal worker who called into C-SPAN this weekend.
I'm, a retired federal worker, and I hear people talking about, the president needs to get involved, and the Democrats are saying this, the Republicans are saying this. This is the truth. The Democrats, and I'm a Democrat, are the ones that actually, in the Senate side, shut down the government. They did not vote for a continuing resolution,
right,
except for three of them. One is the senator of Pennsylvania, Fetterman, and all. So they have to get together and stop holding an American hostage. We're about to have people without food come, November 1st, which is the end of this week. And that's ridiculous. It is not worth it. Plus, the health care companies have already said you're way past the deadline for them to change their costs that they're going to give out to the public for the health care. So November 1st is open season. So
yeah, and she's exactly right. Way past the deadline for that. So that's a non-factor in these negotiations. People about to lose SNAP benefits. Let's go to Sharon in Gray Court. Sharon, you got a question about SNAP benefits? I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but fire away. Sharon, are you there? Do we have Sharon? All right. Well, let's go to Melissa in Malden. Melissa, welcome.
Hey. I love you, as always.
Thank you. What's up?
Oh, first of all, you know your dogs, right?
Yeah.
My dogs will not go out in this mess.
They hate it. No, they hate it.
Oh, my goodness. I put puppy pads down. It's been horrendous all morning.
Yeah,
horrendous.
I know.
But
I know.
No, I want to talk about the SNAP stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, look, I got let go from PetSmart because of a driver that was an illegal for DoorDash, okay?
Right.
All because I told him, you need to speak English. I live in America.
Yeah.
I literally got let go after 3 years, never got written up, never nothing. I was like employee of the month 2 years in a row. And this is what I don't get. Like, I understand helping people that need help, and it should be temporarily.
Yeah.
I've needed help before, but guess what? I got denied because I made too much money, which was no money at all.
Yeah.
But if you're a single mom, if you're a veteran, if you're disabled, if you need help, fine. I'm all about that. I will help you day in and day out. But all these people that are going on Snap and this and that, and they got nails and lashes and spray tans and filling up their buggies of all these sugary crap food.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not down for that. Like,
I get it.
American taxpayers should not be paying for people who want to disable their children and everything else with all the crap food, the processed food they're feeding them. Like, okay, let's just do it like this. Say, you get this. You get a card that says you get meat, fish, fruits, vegetables.
Love it.
Good
I
things.
think that's a great
You know what
idea.
I mean?
Healthy food.
What do
yeah.
you think?
No, I think that's perfect. This is the only thing you can buy with SNAP benefits. I appreciate it. I want to get to Katie in Malden. Katie, welcome.
Hey, I'm just singing the same old song from last week, Charlie.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm in some Gives Back group, Gives, Gives, back group. You know, pick the lower end of the county spot, and there's going to be one.
Right.
And I am horrified with what I see coming across and impressed with one lady and her admin's organizational. They are literally having people that have a bit of money adopting people that don't. I'm sitting in here, and I'm 76. I'm sitting in my car with a can of $50, $40, something like that, Similac rolling around in the front seat, running down to a lady's house in Fountain Inn. I told my kids, if you don't like what you see, call your representatives.
Sure.
And one of them said, well, it's probably not the people you voted for. Well, they live out of state, so yeah, but the implication is Democrat. And it's like, well, then call them anyway. They had a phone number. They probably still do. But the point is that if we citizens do not get stinky mad about this, it's going to keep going.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think people have had it. I think they're up to the breaking point. I appreciate it. Let's go to Billy in Greenville. Billy, what's on your mind?
Why hasn't Mike Johnson and them gone nuclear on passing this resolution?
Because that would be the worst thing they could possibly do.
Why?
Because if they invoke enact the nuclear option, which means it would only take 50 votes, right?
Correct.
Then when the Democrats get back in power, they are going to run roughshod over the Republicans.
And you think they won't anyway?
Not if they've not if they've got to get 60 votes.
They'll do it anyway. If the Democrats get back in power, they're going to force feed us just like they did the last 4 years ago. They're going to force feed
it would be the worst thing that could possibly happen, because then, I mean, then you want to see this country in hard shape. You want to see open borders. You want to see a ruined economy. That's exactly what will happen, Billy, if they invoke that nuclear option. That's the reason they call it nuclear, because there's going to be no survivors. But the vast majority of the casualties are going to be over on the Republican side. You do not want to carve that out. That 60 votes is there. Now, when the Democrats get back in power, good chance they might do that. If they take control of the Senate, good chance they might. But make them do it. Make them do it. Don't do the hard work for them. WRD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Would love to chat with you this afternoon. We got a couple of people on a hold here, so let's get to a couple. Let's see who we got there. JJ. We got Jason. Let's go to Jason. Jason, welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I just got one or two things to say, and I'll be done with it. But my dad's a Vietnam veteran, I was born in the 70s with two brothers before me, and we never got any kind of benefits or anything from any government assistance.
Right.
And my dad worked his butt off, one income. My mom stayed home with us, and we never got any kind of benefits, and we made it through just fine.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody needs to be receiving benefits.
But see, Jason, you pointed out the key there. You had a mother and a father, right?
Yes, sir.
You had a mother and a father. That was the Democrats' plan. That's been their plan the whole time. Destroy the nuclear family. That way you become dependent on the government. Buddy, I got to let you go here. We got to hit a break. We'll be right back. More calls coming your way. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Grit, truth, and a whole lot of common sense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's hit these phone lines right now. We'll go to Nakira in Gastonia. How you doing, Nakira?
Hi, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. What's on your mind? Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, is this Charlie?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Charlie. I was calling just about, I was just listening and I was wanting to talk to you about the SNAP benefits, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm a single mom of 3 kids, and I just had heard a woman that got on here, and she was talking about how she sees people with, their nails done and etc., etc. And I feel like I make a pretty good amount of money per month, but I don't think certain people understand that there's like income limits for the amount of family members you have in the household. And I feel like I should be able to get my nails done every once in a while without people looking at me crazy just because I use an EBT card.
But you do understand where the nails would be a luxury, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so you do understand when people are out there and they're paying their taxes, and some part of their taxes goes to fund these SNAP benefits, that they might have a little bit of a problem with folks going out there and getting mani-pedis.
But why? If the government is looking at how much I make, what my expenses are and stuff, and this is the certain amount they give me, what am I to do with the rest of the money that I have? That's what I mean. I can see if people are out going like every week, they're getting their nails, hair, all of that done. But
right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Just every once in a while to treat yourself. That I feel like everybody should be able to do that.
But what extra money do you have if you're on SNAP benefits?
I mean, for a household of 4, I think the income restrictions are like $65,000 a year or something like that.
And
I make
how much?
$25. I make $25 an hour, and I work about 35 hours a week. And I get about $600 a month in food share, a little bit more than that. But I'm getting that amount based on what the government feels like I should be getting.
But
so I have extra money left over.
So, and you see where people. So you're working basically a part-time job and you're getting SNAP benefits.
I 35 hours is considered full-time.
Okay. I usually consider that 40, but okay. But I again, I don't understand. I mean, why is it okay? Well, why do you get upset when people think it's not okay for you to go get a mani-pedi when you're getting SNAP benefits? I'm trying not to be insulting here, and you're working full time. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children.
Yeah, 3 children, and you get $600 a month in SNAP SNAP benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I don't. You can see why people would get upset about that, right?
I just don't. Well, why is it there? But they can go get a mani-pedi. But is it because they feel like they're paying
Here's
for
what
me
it would
to
be
have
like. Here's
SNAP
what it would be
benefits?
like. All right, Nakira, let's just say your neighbor needed some money to pay their rent. Please, Nakira, just give me. I just need $100 to pay the rent, and you loan them $100. But the next day you see them carrying a big screen TV into their house. How do you feel?
Yeah, you wouldn't feel good.
No, you wouldn't feel good, and that's the point I'm trying to make. I appreciate it, Nakira. Thank you. Let's go to Matt in Greenville. Matt, welcome.
Charlie, this isn't what I called in to talk about, but you missed the big question for that previous lady, which is how much money are you getting from the 3 children's father?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what's Daddy helping out with that?
Well, he was interested in her when he got her pregnant.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I called about was in defense of the filibuster.
Yeah.
Which I used to be. You had a caller, a couple people back, who, he was full bore of, well, they do it to us, and I used to be, I used to have that mindset until Obamacare passed.
Right.
And if I remember right, that was 60 Democrats that voted for it. They had that, they didn't need anybody to cross over.
Right.
And as much as I hate that my senator is usually one of the ones that'll cross over, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
The beauty of the filibuster is it forces the party in power to deal with the party that's out of power. And when Obamacare passed, one of the reasons it's such a catastrophe was they didn't need any Republicans to help out.
None.
And therefore, the Republicans didn't have any skin in the game when it turned out to be awful.
Yeah.
They didn't, none of them voted for it.
And that would be, and here's the thing, that would be the same thing now if we did away with invoke the nuclear option. Everybody,
Right.
then they could point all the fingers at the Republicans.
Around.
Yeah. Oh,
They
it will.
will turn around and do it. And honest to goodness, I couldn't blame them. We did it to you. Now you're doing it to us.
Yeah.
But, nobody likes to watch the sausage get made, but having them negotiate with each other and getting some support out of the minority party is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
As much as I hate, it's always my senator that they go after. Yeah, whatever. But, that's the beauty of the filibuster is it forces them to make some concessions to the minority party, and that's not a bad thing.
It's not. But in this case, we're talking about something that the Democrats have already voted for.
Well, yeah, I know.
You know?
I think they're going to get, they're going to get. I think the voting population, it's the party that's out of power always looks uncooperative.
Yeah.
And when people can't get, and the guy that came on, Adam Morgan came on today, and good Lord, some of the stats he was giving on who gets food. I feel like I'm pretty well informed, and I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know,
the
Matt.
Percentages of people.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. I appreciate it, buddy. I want to go to Tim in Campobello. How you doing, Tim?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm great. What's up, man?
Look, I got several points. I didn't call about this, but then that Nokia girl, whoever in the heck she was,
Yeah.
I got some comments about that, and I don't care who it offends. Look, you got to have sense enough to know I'm 60-year-old, ain't never drawn an unemployment check, ain't never got a check from the government. Well, except that during COVID, they sent me a check. I didn't need it, but I didn't send it back to them. They
Right.
sent it to them. I'll take it. But look, what this new generation or whatever you want to call these nuts, there's certain things you can't afford. In my household, I've had to tell my wife and youngins over the years, no, we ain't doing that. We can't afford it.
Right.
I don't want youngins starving to death, but I don't want one dime of my tax money going to get anybody's nails done or hair done or any crap like that. And I don't care who it offends. I don't care who hears it. But right here's another thing. This shutdown, Republicans need to just ride it out. The Democrats are the ones looking bad, and most of the people, they ain't going to let them SNAP benefits run out because most of the people on it's their voters. So they're going to give in. That's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know what else. I don't know what else I called in about.
Well,
I
that's
done got mad at that girl. Good God have mercy.
That's all right, Tim.
Stupid though.
I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah. Thank you, man. You have a great day. Be careful out there. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I was thinking about that call from Nakira, and we just live in such a time where it is all about me. Me, 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 me. I got a little money left over. I'm going to do something for me. You've got children at home. Is there anything that those kids could need more than you? I'll be honest with you. My grandmother made her own clothes. She would go to the store. She would buy bolts of fabric. She'd buy, I don't know what you call them, the schematics. I don't know what you call them. What do you call those things where you make clothes? I don't even know what it's called. You know, the design. She'd buy the design. She would sit down at her sewing machine and she would make her own clothes. The only new dress that I remember my grandmother wearing that came from a store was the one we buried her in. She put everything she had into the family. My grandfather the same way. Absolutely the same way. Let's go to Melanie in Campobello. Melanie, welcome.
Hi, how are you, Charlie?
I'm wonderful. What's on your mind?
Well, I know the younger generation, I think they're a little bit entitled and spoiled to all these young SNAP benefits and government benefits that they receive. I have a family of 5, and my husband lost his job during COVID due to being sick and had long-haul COVID for like 3 years. And I have health complications due to cancer, so I'm not able to work. So, you know, we had very little, if anything, and never qualified for anything. And so I spent my time volunteering where I could, like food pantries to help out and maybe get some food. And, you know, we learned to shop at thrift stores. I don't go inside of news stores anymore. Everything, you know, we function just fine with thrift stores and repurposed items.
Yeah.
And, you know, we make less than $45,000 a year, family of 5, and we still have no government benefits. And we are making it work because we've, you know, adopted a program of living not above our means. We don't have cable. I don't have any, you know, anything like that. So.
But that's how you do it. I mean, you know, I mean, that's just, and if everybody would take that advice, they'd be a lot better off. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
But too many people are dependent on somebody else. Amazing. I appreciate it, Melanie. Let's go to Kirby in Spartanburg. Kirby, you got some points here?
Yeah, Charlie, how you doing?
I'm great.
Not to beat a dead horse, but she said something that we need to beat to death here. She asked you, I have a little money left over. What am I supposed to do with it? I don't know, maybe invest, save, better your lifestyle.
Set it aside.
Instead you're going out doing this. You're clearly living a lifestyle you can't afford because you're needing other people's money. It's just her audacity to say that is crazy.
I really could not wrap my head around that. I could not wrap my head around how, first of all, you go out and get your nails done, but you don't understand how people would get upset when you go out and get your nails done.
No, she couldn't.
Of how you're perceived.
Your point.
Yeah.
Even you talking to her like a 5-year-old, she still couldn't see it.
There you go. So, man,
Crazy.
I tell you what. All right, Kirby, anything else?
Thank you. No, that's it.
I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. Grady is in Fort Mill. How you doing, Grady?
I'm doing good.
Yes, sir.
I'm good to hear. It's good to hear from you. What I was calling about was some of the people I think that listen to this, that listen to that woman talk, and the opinion she had about her assistance she's getting.
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of the people that voted Trump and a lot of the people that would agree with you on that subject, as far as getting your nails done when you're drawing help from the government, a lot of the same people that would agree with that, and I know this to be a fact, they're retirees, and they are getting health benefits through the Obama program, and there's a loophole there for people who have retired that I don't fully understand it, but I think it's something to the effect, if your income is less than like $70,000 a year, you can get supplemental health care. You can get the subsidies from the government. And I know a lot of people in my area, and I'm sure down your way too, that retired and that has plenty of money in the bank to make it. 1 million, 2 million, some more than that. And they're setting their income level low enough to beat that threshold, and they're getting subsidies through our government. And they're sitting, and you know who you are. You're listening to this, and you're looking down on this young lady for taking advantage of our government, but you're doing the exact same thing, and there's millions of them doing it.
I think the issue most people have is the fact that she thinks she's okay with going to get her nails done.
Oh yeah, exactly, and I agree. But there's a lot of people doing the same thing, and I'm not justifying it. It's wrong. Either way is wrong. But there's a lot of people doing the same thing with our insurance.
Now,
and
that's why we got to get those. That's why we got to get the expanded subsidies done away with. I want to go to Neil in Greenville. Neil, welcome.
Afternoon, Charlie. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
I was raised by a single mom, so I know about the hardships of, trying to get by. I watched my mom work 3 jobs just to put food in my mouth.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what taught me how to, wash and clean and cook and, help her out around the house, because I learned how to do that. But when she starts talking about, oh, well, I got extra money, what am I supposed to do with it? Well, you know what you do with that? You save it for when you actually have a big problem and need it.
Yeah.
When your car breaks down, when you need tires, when your air conditioner breaks, things like that happen. Life happens. And this younger generation isn't taught to prepare for life. They're just taught to flaunt what they got. It's disgusting, Charlie. It really is. I mean, there, like you said earlier, there's no thought for what those kids need. It's like, oh, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, well, maybe your kids are going to get sick. Maybe they're going to need some clothes.
Yeah.
Again, it was brought up about the dad or however many dads it was. How much money is coming in from that? So
it's frustrating. I feel your frustration, Neil. I'm telling you what. Hey, buddy, I appreciate it, man. I got to hit a break here. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You've stepped into the Upstate Talk Octagon. A few left jabs and a lot of right uppercuts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir, and we are back on a rainy Monday afternoon. Good gracious. Let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Dean in Cashville. How you doing, Dean?
Oh, Charlie, trying to stay dry.
Yeah, good luck.
The real tragedy is that the people who do not want to pass this clean resolution, clean continuing resolution, they do not want Nakira to purchase nifty things for herself because they want her desperate.
Yes.
Because they don't want her to become, they know she could be their competition. They don't want her to have the means to threaten them. And that's our culture. Our culture is afraid that if we are self-sufficient, that if we can accumulate the wealth, that we will threaten them. And the tragedy is, she is a victim. She's a victim of this culture and those people, and it's very sad. Thank you for what you do, Charlie.
I appreciate you, Dean. Let's go from that Dean to the next. Dean in Travelers Rest. How you doing, Dean?
I'm doing good. Good to be on radio.
Well, thank you, sir.
I am sick of the Robin Hood mentality in this world. You know, man, my mom came over here in '61 with dreams of being an American, and thank God she didn't have the thought process of even doing an abortion, because in fact she says, I'm and here I am 59 years later, saved by grace, washed in the blood, and believe in keeping myself up. God gives people the ability to be wealthy and to make money, and gives other people the ability to work for them and have the pleasure of being working for them and be paid by them. And, you know, if you want something in life, go work for it yourself.
Yeah.
Quit letting other people keep you up. My mom didn't do it. She worked minimum wage the whole time she had a career until she died. Never had no money. Never asked Uncle Sam to give her a dime. We stood at the last row of the grocery store every week, and we right on the list. She added everything up, figured out the taxes.
Yep.
And if that $20 bill couldn't buy it, it was handed to me, and I took it and put it back on the ship.
That's right.
The way it's supposed to be, and come back over there at the checkout, and we walk out the door.
You're right. That's the way. My grandmother never had more than a 6th grade education, but she could balance a checkbook, like nobody's business. She could squeeze a penny. I appreciate it, Dean. Thank you. John is in Dark Corner. How you doing, John?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's happening?
I was going to tell you about, you was talking about them sewing clothes and stuff. I remember back, I'm 62 years old, and I remember my mom, an aunt, they weren't them. You was talking about schematics. They were called patterns.
Patterns. That's what I was looking for. The pattern.
Patterns.
Yeah.
A little envelope where they sold materials.
Right.
I'm used to people wouldn't come up and say, "Oh my God, that's so pretty. What store did you buy that at?" They'd say, "God, that's pretty. Where'd you get that pattern?"
Yeah.
And that's how people survived back then. None of
That's
this
right.
crazy junk. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way it is. You did what you had to do.
That's right. You're exactly
I
right.
remember getting the first pair of Converse tennis shoes. My aunt bought them for her birthday. The All-Star Chuck Yeager All-Star.
Yeah.
Oh, now I was hell. Now I'm here to tell you.
That's right.
You know. But anyway, I thought I'd talk to you
you
about
bring it back.
patterns.
Bring it back. Memories now, John. Man, I showed up first day of football practice. I couldn't afford cleats, so I wore these Converse All-Stars out on the football field, and coach said, "Son, you ain't gonna be able to run in those." Yeah, watch me, pal. I've been running in these things since I was a kid. I was a kid then. All right. Well, we all know the story about Zohran Mamdani and his aunt. Now, before we get to that, because I got to set this up with a Norm Macdonald joke. Norm Macdonald, one of my favorite comedians of all time. Norm Macdonald is a thinking man's comedian. And he told a joke, and then Zohran Mamdani lives it out in a speech that he gave. I'm going to play for you the joke from Norm Macdonald, all right? And I want you to listen, pay attention to it, and understand what he is saying, because the two people that were sitting there at the dais with him, they didn't get the joke. Here is the Norm Macdonald joke. Here we go.
I can't say my friend's name, but he said his biggest fear is that ISIS or some terrorist group like that would get a hold of a dirty bomb and explode it over a major city within the United States and kill tens of millions of people. Because then the blowback against innocent Muslims would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
All right, let's do some jokes.
They didn't even get it. They didn't even get it. And maybe there's some folks out there that don't get that joke. Let me break it down for you. Terrorist group, dirty bomb, tens of millions of people are dead because of a terrorist group and a dirty bomb. Meanwhile, the blowback against innocent Muslims would be horrible. That's the joke. Dismissing tens of millions of people dead because these people were looked at negatively. You see? That's the joke. Well, Zohran Mamdani, he lived the joke, apparently. Let's take a listen to his speech the other day about his aunt.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt.
Fake tears, fake tears.
Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
That's the joke. That is the joke. Thousands of Americans killed on 9/11, but my aunt could not wear her hijab on the subway. You see the difference there? But then there's so much more to this than just that. Because now we found out that his aunt, who was the real victim of 9/11, his aunt, the real victim of 9/11, ladies and gentlemen, could not wear the hijab. But that was a lie. You see, the aunt that he's talking about, the memory of his aunt, she was not even in the United States during that time. She lived in Tanzania. Liar. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Giving the left heartburn. Afternoons 3 to 7. Dum. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WORD talk line, 800-905-0989. We'll talk to Chris in Lenore, who's cranking up that Odyssey app. What's going on, Chris?
Hi, good talking to you, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I was just calling to kind of chime in on the situation, Nakira and whatnot, and I think maybe a lot of us are missing a bigger point, and the point is, how did we get here? We basically incentivized, the age system and for young women to have kids out of wedlock and to not have a dad at home.
Right.
Back in the early 2000s, I was a young man and worked as a laborer, made about $10 an hour. We had a kid at home from my wife's first relationship. We weren't married then, but we had another kid, and she was out of work. So we asked for some assistance, and they said, well, we can give you $10 a month, is what they told my wife, and it's food stamps at the time. And but now, if he's not living there, we can actually give you more because you got 2 kids.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That to me is just insane. And I mean, you're destroying a nuclear family, and well, you get what we got.
It incentivizes poverty. You're exactly right. But you're right, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy. But that's that's the design. Get the dads out of the home. Moms, you don't need those men hanging around. They're icky. Yuck. Yeah, you don't need those guys. You can do it yourself. I am woman. Hear me roar. Go get you some. Read your Cosmopolitan magazine. Everything will be fine. You're gonna be all right. And now look where we are. Well, let's talk to Gene about Mondani real quick, and because it leads into the next story. Gene, welcome.
Yes, I want to talk about. I call him Bonzani.
Yeah.
You know, I heard the story that you brought up. This is a Muslim approach to dealing with the heathens, like you and I, etc.
Yeah.
And that is called taqiyya. I'm sure you've heard the word taqiyya.
Yeah.
Meaning you lie to non-Muslims to achieve your ultimate goal.
And that's okay. It's not a sin.
Provided you're doing it with heathen. But a Muslim to Muslim, it is a sin.
Right.
But to a heathen, it's not a sin because we're considered animals. We're not considered worthy of any human consideration. And by the way, Allah has no children. Put that in mind, too. That's in the Quran. The other part of this, too, is that what he did also, what's her name there? The Arab woman there from Detroit. What's her name? You know who I'm talking about, part of the squad.
Tlaib.
Yeah. Right. She also lied. Remember talking about her, she's not allowed to visit her grandmother. Trump won't allow her to, and Trump gave her, I think, a ride with Air Force One to go to the West Bank, and it turns out she doesn't have a grandmother there.
Exactly.
Okay, this is what and it's an intimidation tactic. This is going on right now in a lot of cities here in America, and I can attest to what, in particular, for the center part of Connecticut, where a lot of the young college age and young adult age Muslim men are going up to the non-Muslim women and telling them that they're being hunted down by white Christian men. Guys like Charlie James are hunting them down with a Bible in their left hand, and they fear for their lives. This is the big lie. It's the intimidation tactic where they present themselves as victims, and it's a lie.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I appreciate it, Gene. Sweden, perfect example. You have not been hearing about the bombings that are going on in Sweden. There's practically one a week. And now Sweden is the rape capital of the world because of their immigration. It's all these people coming in, not assimilating into society. Well, there you go. So what is 2028 going to look like as far as the Democrats are concerned? We got some people that are looking at running for president over there on the left, and Kamala Harris Looks like she's one of them.
Stories of your baby nieces, Amara and Leela. When are they going to see a woman in charge in the White House?
In their lifetime, for sure.
Could it be you?
Possibly.
Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done. I have lived my entire career a life of service. And it's in my bones. And there are many ways to serve. I've not decided yet what I will do in the future beyond what I am doing right now.
But you've been very clear that it's a possibility you might run again to become president. And in my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says, I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls.
Well, that's pretty obvious. That's pretty obvious. So she's going to run again. But who else is going to run again? Oh, Gavin Newsom is going to run again because now he is trying to re-image himself as an overcomer. You see, Gavin Newsom now claims that he drove himself up from poverty.
But also, it was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread and 5 stacks of,
it's like the White Stack 5 story.
Come on.
He was Gavin Newsom. I didn't know that, y'all. I didn't know that. Gavin Newsom. Wonder Bread. I was too poor for Wonder Bread. We couldn't afford Wonder Bread. You know where we got our bread, Gavin Newsom? The thrift store. The day grandma called it the day old store. Go to the day old store, get that day old bread. We didn't have fresh bread. I remember it was the Sunshine Bakery. We would go to the Sunshine Bakery, and that boy, I love going in there. Day old bread. Give me a break. Eating macaroni and cheese. Gavin Newsom, you big fat liar. You big fat liar. He was actually, there was a San Francisco Chronicle did a story on him. Gavin Newsom, this is the headline. Gavin Newsom with Paul Moyen, Andrew Getty, and Bill Getty posing for Children of the Rich feature. His father was like the guy that controlled the Getty fortune. He was the main lawyer for the Gettys. His mom was a socialite. He was voted most stylish in high school. And now he's good. Now he's good. It probably was the richest high school in San Francisco. So now he's going to come along and tell you that he's poor. But maybe the most frightening one of all is this young lady.
Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country.
Wow, that reminds me of somebody else. Who was it?
And we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Yeah, the scream that ruined candidacy, ladies and gentlemen. Please, y'all, please run. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I really wish some of our local news channels over there on the TV would get a better news service. I really do. One that doesn't spin everything to a ridiculous liberal ideology, but that's the world we live in. Newsrooms have shrunk dramatically. Man, when I was working in television news, that newsroom was humming, man. We had reporters, we had photogs, we had assignment editors, we had segment editors, and that was just in the news department. Then you go into the production, they had the directors, they had the lighting guys, they had the camera operators, you had the sound guy. Man, it was humming. And we spit that no more, back in the day, no more exciting place in the world than a TV newsroom 30 minutes before airtime. I mean, it was blood pressure was up, and your heart was racing, you broke out into a little bit of a sweat. It was great. It was really great. I thought television was a great way to start my media career. But these days it's different. It is literally, in a lot of cases, just rip and read. Whatever the Associated Press sends you in an email, that's the story you go with. And that is, unfortunately, the case here from WYFF. They posted a story out that says, and this is from the AP, Stephen Grove is over at the Associated Press. Headline, Shutdowns began as a way to enforce federal power. Now Trump is using it to take more power. That is such a misleading headline. Trump is not taking power. Everything that Trump is doing is guaranteed to him under the Constitution or under something called the Anti-Deficiency Act of 1870. And the Anti-Deficiency Act of 1870 restricts the government from spending money once authority from Congress expires. Well, that has happened. It happened 27 days ago. So what it does give the president the opportunity to do is actually cut spending. Can't spend more money, but you can certainly spend less. And then they go on to talk about the funding lapse. Donald Trump is using it to punish Democrats. He's not using it to punish Democrats. No, he's not. He's using it to do what he said he was going to do. He's using it to do what Republicans have run on for the past, 50 years at least, smaller government. Smaller government. And only thing that the Democrats have to do to stop all of this is for, 4 or 5 of them to vote for the continuing resolution. That's all you got to do. Vote for the clean CR, I might add. Get the government back up and running. So let me tell you what's going to happen in the coming days when the Democrats do vote for this CR. There's going to be a little period of time, a little lapse there, because I, like Senator Kennedy, think that Chuck Schumer is going to some of these Democrat senators and going, listen, I need you to vote for this continuing resolution. It's killing us. I can't do that. I can't do that, Chuck. I can't vote for it. No, you got to do it. Now, we're going to kick you in the pants for a little bit. We're going to make a big show out of it. We're going to talk about how we can't believe you did all of that. But don't you worry. When all of this blows over in a few weeks, we'll be right back on your side and everything will be fine. I think that's what's going to happen. Okay? So, but more and more, even now the mainstream media is having to come and admit who is actually at fault. And this, believe it or not, is from MSNBC.
With MSNBC's Kevin Fry on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are facing growing calls to end the shutdown. Kevin, what's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson...
Who did pass the clean CR? Oh, the House. That's right. It's the House.
Johnson was asked about this today. He certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way, and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have, in recent weeks, spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration, of course, as this continues to drag.
Okay. We'll do that too. We'll do that too. Whatever you do, this will be one of the few times in my life you're ever going to hear this. Whatever you Democrats want to do, we'll do. How about that? You want to keep the government shut down? We'll keep it shut down. You want to open the government? We'll open it up. It's all up to you. Ball's in your court. Let's go to Frank in Pisgah Forest and talk to him. Frank, what's going on, man?
Not much, Charlie. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
The SNAP thing. I know federal law says immigrants, I should say aliens, are not supposed to receive SNAP. So if they cut out the SNAP for all of the immigrants that are getting it, wouldn't that leave enough for the American citizens that are getting it also?
Well, that's just it. SNAP isn't in danger. It's just been cut off.
Still, they're not supposed to be getting it.
I know, but they do.
So there should be enough money to last until sometime next year.
Oh my goodness, it should be. Yeah, you would think that, Frank. I appreciate your call. Well, listen to this. Listen to this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tease you a little bit here. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to break down the SNAP program and the recipients by nationality that are here in the United States. You're not going to believe these statistics that I'm going to give you. When we get back, I'm going to play you a clip from an American liberal who is leaving the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what will we ever do? It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Oh, man, what a sloggy day it is outside. Dogs are hating it today. They can't go out. Well, Sophie, we let her young behind out today, and she didn't care. She doesn't care. The dirtier, the muddier, the nastier, the better. She likes it. So Artie's not too crazy about it, but Sophie, again, she doesn't care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a problem in this country. We got a problem. You know, we had all of these illegal immigrants coming into this country. That was a big problem. But I think a bigger problem is that we got Democrats leaving. I know. I understand. Rosie O'Donnell left. Ellen DeGeneres left. Just so many of these, they're just leaving, y'all. They're leaving. What are we going to do without them? I want you to listen to this guy who's just, and I have to say, this guy's got the most punchable face I've ever seen in my life. But here we go.
Well, here we are. It's Friday, and we are just literally minutes away from the border to Canada as we flee the U.S. Who would have thought at age 60 that this would be our day and our plan and our actions?
That's a shame.
And I know fleeing sounds dramatic and like something from a movie, but it's really true.
Yeah.
We just feel so scrutinized and so silenced and so being portrayed as enemies within and being portrayed as domestic terrorists because we're standing up for what we believe in this country and what we believe is being violated and is going into an authoritarian regime.
There we go. Right.
And is in it actually and has been since he hit the ground running in January, the day he was inaugurated.
Wow. It's amazing.
It's really frightening and it's really unsettling, and there's just no peace in that the folks that follow him and voted for him are just being barraged with this indoctrination by this cult of personality to believe through just repeated messaging that Democrats are the enemy within, his words.
His
that
words.
All Democrats across the board are domestic terrorists.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Again, his words.
All right, okay.
That this straw man that they're building with Antifa to give them something to be outraged about, that they feel they need to take up some sort of vigilantism to seek out and seek retribution on their own. It's just whipping up this frenzy of hatred.
Really? Frenzy of, I had no idea. Well, you enjoy Canada. You enjoy Canada because you know it's not easy to get into Canada. It's not easy. I've told you this story before. A young couple down in Summerville, South Carolina. They decided they were going to, this is during the first Trump administration, they were going to flee to Canada because they did not like President Trump's immigration policy. They didn't like it, so they were going to Canada. And then they found out that in order to go to Canada, you had to pass a background check. What? You had to prove that you had a command of the English language. You had to prove that you had money in the bank. You had to prove that you had job prospects. And you had to sign a document that would say you would take no government assistance while you were there. You see, Canada's immigration laws, and this is a white fella, as you can tell, extremely, their immigration policies was stricter than ours. But you want to talk about being silenced. I don't remember Trump sending the FBI to social media companies telling them to take down liberal posts. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I'm sorry. And being labeled domestic terrorist, let's just take you back to the red speech that Joe Biden gave in Philadelphia. You remember that? That literally Hitler-esque speech that he gave against the backdrop of Liberty Hall that was bathed in blood red with 2 Marines flanking Joe Biden? And he said this.
We must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans.
Yeah, wrong.
Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology.
What extreme ideology? Secure borders? Safe streets? Decent economy? Let's go to Doug in Greenville. Doug, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. First of all, I hope you're doing great today.
Absolutely. You too, pal. What's up?
Hey, I guarantee you that mushmouth person that you played that that tape of,
yeah.
I guarantee you he did not renounce his United States citizenship.
No. Would never.
And I guarantee you Rosie O'Donnell didn't either.
That's right. You're right about that. All right, Doug, I appreciate it. That's exactly right. It's all show. You know what the guy's going to do? He's literally going up to Canada for a vacation. He'll be back. He'll be back annoying his neighbors at the HOA before you know it. You know, your grass is an inch too tall. I'm going to have to write you up. You know, you left your Christmas lights up one day over the deadline. We're going to have to write you up. We're going to have to fine you for that. Your garage door was open for 30 minutes. We're going to have to fine you for that. Yeah, he'll be back annoying his neighbors before you know it. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Welcome back to the program. You know, the last elections that we saw, the House and the Senate elections we had last week, we saw so much dirty dealings going on in those elections. We really did. We saw that Taylor Culliver talking about bringing Democrats. This is why we got to close the primaries, y'all. We got to get these things closed. But it's also the reason that a lot of Republicans don't want them closed. Those folks down there in Columbia, they benefit from open primaries. If they didn't, they would have shut them down 19 years ago when people first started talking about this. And one of the people that's been affected by things like this is Glenn Greer. He's the mayor of Lyman. Glenn, welcome.
Hey there, Charlie. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fighting the fight today. I'm fighting the fight.
So what is going on out in Lyman?
So we have a nonpartisan election for our municipal seats, for our mayor and 3 of our council members. One of my opponents for mayor is sitting on council currently, so we're a strong council form of government. So he has the same authority I do currently because he's on the council with me, but he's running to get the mayor's job.
Right.
He is also he just so happens to be the vice chair for the Spartanburg Democratic Party. And we've started now having calls come in from the liberal organizations and Democratic organizations down in Columbia and around, including the AFFA, and the Democratic Party has decided to get involved in a small town mayor's race.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting the fight not only for the town, but I'm fighting a state party at this point.
That's amazing. In Lyman, so let me ask you something. Just go back and give us a little history. Why? And I've like when I was in Augusta, we had the strong council, city council as well. Why is it like that, and why is it not partisan?
It's a nonpartisan because that is what they prefer for us. Prefer as far as elections for municipalities in the state. They don't want parties involved because of the type of money that can be pushed in. Like is coming into this one now, but this was not clear until last week when another council person was able to find out that this party was not only being pushed by the Democratic Party, they put it on the Spartanburg County Facebook for Democrats. Their Democrat Party, they put it that they had an executive officer that was running for the mayor of Lyman. So this was not me bringing this out. This was them bringing it out and bringing the party into it. But we are a strong form of government due to a change of government that happened in 2015 after that mayor was removed from office by the governor.
Okay. So you need help there, right?
I'll take it. Yes, sir.
How
yes,
can
sir.
people help you out, Glenn?
Well, they can get out and vote. Currently, we have early voting in Lyman. You can go downtown to the administration building for the county. They can vote Glenn Greer for Lyman mayor. We've done great things here so far. We are the 4th safest city in the state. We've had over $750 million of capital investment from businesses coming out. We have the largest Walmart refrigeration system in the country.
Wow.
In little old Lyman. We continue to do well, and we have so many great people in Lyman. I can talk all day about Lyman, but the best thing about Lyman is our people. But the best thing that folks can do is they can know what's happening and what they're trying to do to our town.
Absolutely.
I am a firm believer in power of the people, and I know that the Republican Party is strong in Lyman. But I also know that people like transparency, and it just so happens that candidate ran on transparency, yet he didn't tell anybody that he was a vice chair of a sitting party in the state. So,
yeah. So
imagine that.
So early voting is going on now in the mayor's race in Lyman. When do people actually go to the polls?
November the 4th.
November
We'll be
4th.
7 to 7.
All right, get out there and vote Glenn Greer. Glenn, thank you so much. Best of luck to you, sir. We appreciate it. Don't be a stranger.
Thanks, Charlie. I'll call you back anytime. You
I
call me,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you very much. Again, that's the way they want to do it. That's the way they get the foothold. So you folks in Lyman, early voting going on right now for the mayor's race. You'll be headed to the polls November the 4th. If you want to give the Democrats a foothold, stay home. But if you don't, if you want to fight back against all the mess that we're seeing, then get out there and vote for a good, and I know this is a nonpartisan race, blah, 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 but we know who the people are. Now, remember, just because the race is nonpartisan does not mean the people are. I mean, you've got a guy running that's a vice chair of the Spartanburg County Democrat Party. I think you might know exactly what side he aligns with. But this is how they want to do it. And I hate to say it, but this is where we are the weakest. And whenever you do an assessment, when I watch a game and my Georgia Bulldogs are playing, I know they're going to get beat on the corners. We just cannot protect the corners. Republicans cannot protect the small races because we figure it's not worth it. I mean, little old Lyman. This is a big deal. School boards, big deal. County council, city council. These are big deals. Soil and Water Commission, big deal. They're all big deals. They affect you directly. Folks in Lyman, this could change your town. I mean, how many towns have we seen? The entire, best word I could say, the entire atmosphere of the town gets changed because liberals come in and they win those elections. Happens all the time. Here in Greenville, we are in danger of becoming a little Asheville, or a big Asheville, actually. Becoming just like them. We can stop that, but all you got to do is get out to the polls. So again, that's Glenn Greer running for the mayor's race in Lyman. Early voting going on right now. You'll go to the polls on November the 4th. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
A native Georgia bulldog who bites back at big government. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I don't know why. I just got it in my head that I need 10 more followers on X tonight. I don't know, just popped in my head. I said, Charlie, you know what I would feel like? I would feel like 10 more followers over on X. All you got to do is look me up over there. I'm at Charlie on Air. That's at Charlie on Air. I would love for you to follow me over there on X. That's just 10 tonight. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for. And, we're just talking about that mayor's race in Greer and how the Democrats really they sneak in. Get a council seat here, school board seat there, and then they go after the bigger ones, just a little bit at a time, just chipping away. And I'll give you a great example. Do you remember New York City on September the 12th, the day after the attack? Do you remember New York City the week after the buildings fell? Do you remember when with the lines of firefighters? It was on the news every single night, lines of firefighters, and they were looking for survivors. And when they couldn't find survivors, they were looking for the remains. And every time, there's a lot of conversation. People were digging furiously. They were digging, and they were doing. They had that bucket brigade, and they were taking all of this debris out of there. And every time they would find human remains, everything would stop. Everybody would stop what they are doing, and they would respectfully pass that bucket from firefighter to firefighter to firefighter. You couldn't buy an American flag in New York City. They were all sold out. Everybody had USA on their cars written in shoe polish. All over the country, this was happening. It was unbelievable. And do you remember when George Bush threw out that first pitch on the first game with the New York Yankees after 9/11? Do you remember that? Patriotism at an all-time high. Well, that was 2001. Here we are, 2005. And the people of New York City are about to elect a radical Muslim socialist as their mayor. That's how it works. They're patient. Evil is, the Bible lays out all of these things, what love is. Love is kind, love is patient, love is... No. Evil is more so, except the kind part and the loving part. Evil is more patient than anything else. They waited 24 years. And now on the site where radical Muslims took down those buildings, they're going to elect a mayor that is a radical Islamist, and listen to what they're chanting now. It's not USA, USA, it's... Tax the rich. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. That's what that is now. That's New York. That was at a Mamdani rally with Kathy Hochul, and it was packed. This guy, folks, this guy's going to win this election. He's going to win. Our only hope is that maybe there's some group out there. Maybe it's the Jews. Maybe it's the African Americans. Maybe it's, we don't know. We have no idea. But maybe there's some group out there that's actually going to stop this from happening. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I think Sliwa needs, and yes, would Cuomo be horrible? Absolutely. But he would be the lesser of two evils. He would be the lesser of two evils between him and Mondani. I think Sliwa needs to drop out of that race. I really do. And as much as it may hurt him, he needs to throw his support behind Cuomo. Because other than that, they're doomed. New York City is doomed. New York, one of two major economic capitals of the planet. Them and the city in London. If New York falls, if businesses leave New York, that's going to be a disaster. It really is. It's because, you see, these people are so uneducated. They get so caught up in all of this tax the rich, tax the rich. They don't even realize who pays the taxes in this country. They have literally no idea. The top 1% of taxpayers pay 26.1% of the taxes. The top 6% pay 21.5% of the taxes. The top 10% pay 21.3% of the taxes. The top 50%. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. The top 1% pays 40% of the taxes. The top 5% pays 61% of the taxes. The top 10% pay 72% of all the taxes in this country. Federal income tax. The top 50% of wage earners in this country pay 97% of all taxes. The bottom 50% pay 3%. 3%. And remember, 40% of Americans pay zero income tax. None. If you file your 1040 EZ and you get all of your taxes back, you have paid zero taxes. But they still want to tax the rich. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tough on issues, sharp with facts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. happen, type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, a judge has made some rulings in the Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson case. Let's take a little bit of a listen here to what was said.
The court orders as follows. Defendant's motion to strike the sheriff's response is granted. Defendant's motion to appear in civilian clothing is granted. Defendant's motion to appear without restraints is denied. The standing decorum order will be amended to prohibit any visual recording or photography of the defendant's restraints or of the defendant entering or exiting the courtroom. This constitutes the order of the court, and a written order and ruling will be published shortly. Both defense and prosecution have stipulated to vacate the October 30th hearing. Additional time is needed to complete discovery and to file motions addressing whether non-evidentiary hearings should be conducted virtually, whether to impose any blanket restrictions on cameras in the courtroom, and any other motions that may arise. This matter is set. The court.
All right, so we'll see. This thing needs to be public. It needs to be televised. I don't care if you don't show Robinson in restraints. The American people need to see this evidence. All right? So there you go. Well, maybe you'll see it over there at CBS because they've got a new head of their news in Barry Weiss, and she is not taking any prisoners. In fact, she is looking at taking some folks from some other networks. Now, we are going to, let me just say this. No, let me say this instead. We have already seen just a little bit, just an incremental shift to the center over at CBS. I know I understand. It's hard to imagine. But they are just a smidge going back to the center. And I'll tell you about that in just a second. But Barry Weiss is looking at taking Brett Baier from Fox News to be one of the anchors over there at CBS, and also looking at Scott Jennings from CNN. That would be huge. That would be big. So what do I mean by CBS is inching towards the center? Well, over on Face the Nation, over on CBS, they had Margaret Brennan. And Margaret Brennan was asking some actual questions to Hakeem Jeffries.
I want to ask you about something you said. You said Democrats, there are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You said that back in January. But recently, you've been using the term rigged elections in reference to the upcoming midterms. Democrats were appalled when President Trump used language like that. How do you justify using that now? Doesn't that undermine faith for voters? You need to show up.
No, I've been using that term in the context of Donald Trump's unprecedented effort to gerrymander congressional maps in a partisan fashion all across the country in order to rig the midterm elections and deny the ability of the American people to actually decide who should be in the majority as it relates to the House of Representatives.
You know, Democrats are also going through gerrymandering and redistricting.
No. Well, Democrats are going to push back aggressively to make sure that we have fair maps across the country, not partisan gerrymandering, which Republicans have initiated in state after state after state.
So she actually did a little pushback there, huh? Now, if Margaret Brennan can do something like this, because a month ago, Margaret Brennan would have gotten on CBS and just talked about how horrible the Republicans are doing all this gerrymandering. And how do you plan on fighting back against this, Hakeem Jeffries? That would have been her take a month ago. But now her take is, hey, aren't you being hypocritical? Which tells me one thing. And the greatest example of this is Alisyn Camerota. Remember her when she was over on Fox News? I used to just think the world of Alisyn Camerota. I thought Alisyn Camerota was just absolutely fantastic. I thought she was great. Then she left. And she went over to the dark side, and all of a sudden she became dark herself. You see, that's what liberalism does to you. But more importantly, it tells me that these people, the vast majority of them, are just paid actors. That's all they are. They're just not talented enough to be in television or on the big screen. So they go into broadcasting, the news in particular. So, listen, hopefully Barry Weiss is going to actually be doing something over there at CBS. That would be wonderful. And if she were to get Bret Baier, which I know he's kind of iffy. I'm not the biggest Bret Baier fan in the world. He's a little too liberal for me. But if they could get Scott Jennings over there, oh, man, that would be amazing. It really would. I'd say Charlie's got a free Are you talking about Bret Baier there? Charlie has a free ride on Fox. Talking points are mostly not his. Charlie, I always thought a lot of Sheriff Wright, still do, but seen him with Trey Gowdy in court, I would say the sheriff hired his buddy and connection to no jail time. I grew up with Trey, went by Anthony in the late 70s and early 80s. He'll finally work for $1. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Charlie, Bret Baier has been left-leaning, so-called Republican for years. I know, and it is very disappointing. Charlie, if that judge was talking about granting that, and then I can say now the judge is really, how can you make that assessment? There you go. So, Charlie, I hate to say it. I hate it, but these idiot socialists in New York that never passed Econ 101 kind of deserve what's coming to them. I had to paraphrase that a little bit, but yeah, you're right. But then again, the fallout in New York is going to be horrific. I mean, that's not something that is going to be localized to New York. That guy, Michael Steele, the guy that used to be the head of the RNC for some reason, another rhino, anti-Trumper, he's saying if you don't live in New York, you shouldn't open your mouth about the mayor's race. Yeah, right? The Big Apple? Nobody's going to talk about that? What a maroon. He really is. What a man. Well, you want to talk about a big disappointment in him as well. All right, WRD Talk Line 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. I would love to chat with you this afternoon. Who do I have here? Let me see. I got Matthew. I've got Jimmy. And I've got, wait a minute, where are my new, oh, goodness. I asked for 10 new followers over on Twitter. I got 14. That's a bonus. If you would like to join me over there, please do. I'm at Charlie on Air. That's at Charlie on Air. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Now, I've got 22 people, 22 new followers over there on X or Twitter. I call it Twitter. I appreciate that. Let's just go. Why don't we just go ahead and make it an even 30? Let's get 30 new followers over on X tonight. What do you say? We've got about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 9.5 minutes left in the program. Y'all go ahead and just click on over there. Follow me. I'm at Charlie on Air. That's at Charlie on Air. Well, I've been talking a lot about SNAP benefits. Those are running out. Those are done because of the Democrat shutdown of the federal government. So, a lot of people have been asking the question, how many people in this country do we have on SNAP benefits? And folks, this is going to amaze you. Let's go to CBS News and hear about this.
Trump administration says it will not use emergency funds to pay for federal food benefits with a fast approaching deadline. CBS's Christina Fan is in New York with details on that. Christina.
Well, Jericho, 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP benefits, and tonight there is mounting worry for them. They might not be able to afford food with money running out 1 week from today.
I think people are starting to panic.
Food banks around the country are flashing warning signs.
We've been having about 7 to 10 new people a day this week.
Look at that. That was full this morning.
The pantry at Calvary Episcopal Church in Kentucky ran out of food for the first time in its 43-year history.
We feel like this is the tip of the iceberg.
Members of the California National Guard are now deployed to help food banks in the state. In Massachusetts, 16% of residents rely on SNAP benefits, which provide an average of $187 a month, or about $6 a day. Democratic Governor Maura Healey holds President Trump responsible.
You know, leadership is a choice. And sadly, President Trump has chosen to take away food from people all around this country.
Aboard Air Force One, President Trump told reporters he's not to blame.
Well, I'm going to let some other people talk to you. I'll have a comment on that later, but the Democrats are stopping it.
The sudden loss in federal...
And he's absolutely right. The Democrats are stopping it. I mean, how can they even come along over at CBS News? And I remember I was just telling you they were inching more to the center. They're not fully there yet. How can they come along and say that the president is responsible for this shutdown when every single, except one, all the Republicans except one voted to open the government? You see what the Democrats want? They want to add 1.8, and you've heard this before, $1.8 trillion to the continuing resolution. They want to fully refund NPR, PBS. They want to send money for stupid projects, and we all know why. And I've told you this example before. Pastry classes for Haitian male prostitutes, $1.5 million for that. There's a $3 million program that they want to use to relocate locusts in Africa. Not even making that up. So the locusts are here. They want to spend $3 million and move them over there. I don't know why. I have no idea. But we all know that that's not where the money is going. We'll explain this again. The money goes to an NGO, non-government organization. They take their chunk out. They pass it on to the next NGO. They take their chunk out. They pass it on to the next NGO. They take their chunk out. And it goes down the line, down the line, down the line, where by the time it gets to its destination, we're talking about pennies on the dollar. So what do these NGOs do with all of that money that they took out? Since they're all aligned with the Democrat Party and the Democrat ideologies, they use that money to go in and donate to Democrat candidates. That's the circle of your tax dollars. That $1.5 trillion that the Democrats want in this continuing resolution is not to benefit the American people. It's to benefit them. Benefit them. And then they come up with these lies. It's about health. It's not about health care. It's not. Those deadlines are done. We're way past that. You can take that negotiation off the table. Insurance companies have already set their rates for open enrollment. We're way past that. But they also want to give Medicaid, Medicare to illegal aliens. And this is going to surprise you as well. I was looking at what nationalities got the most SNAP benefits. What nationalities? Let's take a look. Number one, 45.6% of Afghan households in this country receive SNAP benefits. 42% of Somali households get SNAP benefits. Iraq families, 34.8. Dominican, 34.4. Caribbean, 28.8. That's a huge chunk of the American taxpayer dollar. It really is. And then when we hear that here natively, 27.6 of Native American, and I don't mean Native American as in Native American Indian, I mean American-born families are on SNAP benefits. Now, you cannot tell me that 41 million people in this country, I'm sorry, no, it's 43.1 million people in this country receive SNAP benefits. The working class is paying to provide EBT to 43 million people. 54% of immigrant households participate in at least one major welfare program. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of these people that are receiving this are able-bodied people who could go out and get a job today if they had to. But because they are funded by your tax dollars, they don't have to. And that is a darn shame. Well, look who is weighing in on the whole tariff situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than old flyhead himself, Mike Pence. And of course, as usual, he gets it wrong. 800-9050-989 is the Common Sense Retirement. Well, that's the WRD talk line, and it's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. All right, I want some more followers over on X tonight at Charlie on Air. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hitting truth bombs longer than he drives off the tee. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, you 6 o'clock sickos, welcome to the program. Let's go to Robert in Mills River. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing good, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
I just wonder how they get in office in the first place. They ain't been here that long in New York City.
Well, they just
they
make all the promises.
City. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they should not own our land here. I'm telling you something else. They should not be no China person or nothing here owning land here that is not legal here.
Well,
and he might be legal here.
I wish
know
it wasn't legal. You're
shouldn't.
exactly right, Robert. I wish it wasn't, buddy. I appreciate it. Susan is in Greenville. Susan, you got some insight into the Somalis?
I do. I worked for 2 years at a school in South Minneapolis, literally 2 blocks from the
Wow.
George Floyd area.
Yeah.
And it was a Muslim school. I was the only non-Muslim in the school. So I have a little insight, and I met an author who wrote a book about why so many of the Somali men are in jail. Well, first of all, in the Muslim families, they have big families. 8
Yeah.
kids, 12 kids, that's not unusual. But in the Muslim faith, the women do the work. So when they're done at the table, they walk away. The women clean, the sisters, the daughters, everybody else cleans. All the females clean, but the men don't. So the men have not learned the responsibility of working. So they see a lot of high amount of Somali men who end up in jail who's supporting the women with their 8 kids.
Aha.
And so you see that through, and I had a lot of insight. The people at the school were just wonderful because they gave me a lot of insight on this. And that's what I'm seeing is there is a high concentration of our Somali men who are in jail because they don't know how to hold a job. They don't have learned that responsibility of what work is. The women are working. They're in the nurses. They're out there working. All the mothers that I dealt with were working mothers.
So why in Minneapolis? Why was that such? I mean, why is that like literally ground zero for the Somali population in this country?
I don't know. It's probably like Dearborn. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that. I think when 30 years ago when the Civil War was happening over there, a lot of them fled just with the clothes on their back. And I think Minnesota was one of those cities that opened their arms to allow them in. Now, it's interesting because they say, well, why are they going? They go back and forth all the time.
Really?
They go back. Oh, yeah. So it's like, well, do you want to go back home? No, they don't. They like it here because they're getting what? Free stuff.
That's right. Free stuff. Wow.
So, yeah, it was really interesting, and I loved working with them, but it was really interesting to see the inside. I've got a picture of me standing with Tim Walz because Tim Walz came into our little tiny school, had a big meeting. So I was there with the lieutenant governor and Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. And when I started listening to what he was saying, I saw the writing on the wall. I said, you are kidding me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And you were right about that. Unbelievable.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was very interesting. A lot of insight. And there is an author who wrote about it, why so many Somali men are ending up in jail. And this is one of the big things is they have not learned that responsibility. It's the women, the daughters, everybody else who does the work. They've learned that responsibility.
That's pretty amazing. Susan, I appreciate you calling. Thank you so very much.
You're
wow.
welcome. Bye.
Unbelievable. So, the other day, Canada decided they were going to get cute. Oh, I got an idea. Hey, why don't we do a video, of Ronald Reagan talking about tariffs, and we'll put it out and we'll slam Trump, That'll be good. That'd be good. We'd really like that. So they did that. They took Reagan's word from a radio address, and they left out the most important part. And he was talking about tariffs. So the clip that Canada used in that advertisement against Donald Trump made it sound like that Ronald Reagan was a free market absolutist, that he did not like tariffs in any way, shape, or form, right? So because of that, Trump said, all right, you know what? Now, first of all, Canada did not even have the rights to use that audio or that video. You got to get permission from the Reagan archives, and they did not have it. And then they took Reagan out of context. So now, guess who's chiming in on this whole thing? The one and only Mr. Flyhead, Mike Pence. Mike Pence, who tweeted today, Reagan, well, this is yesterday, I believe, Reagan versus Trump on tariffs. Gipper was a free trader, no matter what the current president says. That's interesting. But was he really a free trader, Mike Pence? Huh? Was he really a free trader? No, he was not. According to this article, Ronald Reagan, who served as U.S. president from 81 to 89, positioned himself as a champion of free market principles and open trade, often warning against the dangers of protectionism in speeches like his 1987 radio address, where he decried tariffs as a path to economic ruin akin to the Smoot-Hawley Act of 1930. Despite this rhetoric, his administration pragmatically employed tariffs, quotas, and threats of tariffs as tools to shield vulnerable domestic industries from foreign competition, negotiate better market access abroad, and counter congressional pressure for broader protectionism. These measures were selective and often framed as temporary responses to unfair trade practices such as dumping or barriers to U.S. imports. Over his 2 terms, Reagan approved more trade restrictions than any president since Herbert Hoover. According to Grok, his positions are similar to those of Trump's. Tariffs serve as a temporary tool to negotiate fair trade and avoid imbalances. Reagan, a pragmatist, would probably support Trump's tariffs if they led to a balanced free trade, as he has defended in his speeches. Let's just take a look at a couple. Reagan, 1981, tariffs against Japan. 81, to Taiwan, South Korea, Hong Kong. 1982, global tariffs. 1982, worldwide tariffs on sugar. 1983, Japan. 1983, Brazil. 1983, Taiwan and South Korea. 1983, Japan. 1984, multiple Asian nations. 84, China. 85, the European Community. 85, Canada. 85, Canada. 86, and it goes on and on and on. So now here's old Mike Pence with a fly on his head, knowing none of the facts whatsoever, but weighing in like the idiot that he is. Man, why is it that every time that guy opens his mouth, he is so easy to prove wrong? I've said it before. The fly was right. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Honest views, trusted news. This is the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. act on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Did you notice something happened over the weekend? Something happened over there. It was subtle. It was very subtle, but it happened. All of this outrage over the ballroom kind of died down. I mean, the Democrats, they lost their, you're getting rid of the East Wing of the White House. Oh, what are we going to... Do you know what was in the East Wing of the White House? Practically nothing. That's where the First Lady normally had her office and her staff. Well, Melania Trump has the least staff of any First Lady, certainly a lot fewer people than Michelle Obama or Jill Biden had. Because you realize that's a big waste of money. Meanwhile, this woman's out there reuniting Ukrainian families with their children. Does she get big press coverage over that? No, of course not. And I told you before, if this had been Joe Biden wanting a ballroom at the White House, the mainstream media, they would have, brilliant idea. Oh, we love this. Finally, we're going to have some class and decorum at the White House. Oh, I can just see Dr. Jill at one of these state dinners in a beautiful sequined gown and Joe looking so handsome in his tuxedo. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Oh, but because it's Trump, it's the worst idea ever in the history. They even tried to make it sound like the construction looked like a war zone or terrorism over on CNN. Well, that's coming to an end, you see, because the head of CNN, Mark Thompson, he was pitching a new streaming service from CNN at the White House the other day. It was last week. He went over there. And he saw the plans. And he saw President Trump's vision of what this thing is going to be like. And he went back to CNN, and you know what he said? All right, tone down the whole anti-ballroom thing. This thing is going to be awesome. It's going to be spectacular. In fact, over at CBS, they brought in a traditions at the White House expert. And listen to what she said.
And there's always been this growing fascination about the White House and the details inside, from the furniture to who dined there. And this new ballroom, to put this into perspective, is almost twice the size of the entire White House. When you heard about the plans for this new addition in the East Wing, what did you think?
I will be honest, I wasn't that surprised. I felt like, okay, it's finally happening. The size is interesting. I mean, the White House is truly on a human scale, which I love. It really reflects America and how we, our leaders live. The White House is the only home really that acts as a home, an office, and a museum that's open for tours, but it is on a human scale. So when you think about Buckingham Palace or Versailles, they're so much larger. But I do think it's something that many administrations have been talking about. I know for sure that the Clinton administration had really recommended to the Bush administration that they consider putting some sort of permanent pavilion up, because they really learned to have the numbers of people that they wanted to entertain. They were constantly having to do tents on the lawn. And so I do think that's been something that has been talked about for a long time.
Yeah, but President Trump is finally doing it. Did you know that right now, if you go to an event, a formal event at the White House, which I would love to, you have to use a porta potty? Did you know that? Now, they're nice porta potties, but they're still porta potties. That's not very dignified, is it? Especially for dignitaries that are coming in. Even over at the Washington Post, they have changed their tune on this again. Washington Post editorial board defends Trump's White House construction project. They're going to say, Or is it here? The state dining room seats 140. The East Room seats about 200. Trump says the ballroom at the center of his 90,000 square foot addition will accommodate 999 guests. The next Democratic president will be happy to have this, the board continued. Figures include House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, Secretary of State. They hate it because it's Trump. But it's going to be glorious. I can't wait. Do you remember? And I thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought that when Trump went over, and I can't remember, I think he went to Buckingham. Did he go to Buckingham or Windsor? I think he might have gone to Windsor Palace. And they sat there and they had that big state dinner with King Charles and all the royals. I thought that's where he got the idea. I thought he came back and he said, man, we're going to get one of those. But it wasn't. He's actually been talking about this since the campaign trail. So, there you go. And all of it, should I say, none of this is coming at taxpayer expense. None of it. But Joy Behar over on The View, she said it is coming as taxpayer expense because Donald Trump is contributing his salary towards this. And since Donald Trump is paid by the taxpayers, therefore, ipso facto, or as Archie Bunker would say, ipso fatso over here, then it's taxpayer dollars. But she's an idiot anyway. Because why? Because Trump is a dictator. Listen to this clip from the ladies over on The View. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. That was from Friday. That was Friday's clip. I apologize. Here's what they're saying about Trump now.
You know who told us he was going to be a dictator on day one, and damn if he isn't a dictator. He got back into office, and his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, just added more fuel to the fire.
He's a dictator. Man, if Donald Trump is a dictator, then he is the worst dictator that's ever lived. Dictators don't allow no king's protest, do they? No, they don't. Dictators don't stand up for people's rights. None of these people over on The View, see, they just spew that stuff out with no evidence to back it up. What has he done dictator-like? Literally, what's he done? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you got to go back to this liberal who's leaving America. He's leaving the United States. He's going to Canada. Let's take a listen to this guy. I played this a little earlier, but he's worth listening to again. Here we go.
It's Friday, and
hold on, wait a minute, hold on. You guys hush. Here we go. Here's liberal Larry leaving America.
Well, here we are. It's Friday, and we are just literally minutes away from the border to Canada as we flee the U.S. Who would have thought at age 60 that this would be our day and our plan and our actions? And I know fleeing sounds dramatic and like something from a movie, but it's really true. We just feel so scrutinized and so silenced and so being portrayed as enemies within and being
Wait a minute, silenced? You just had huge No Kings protest. Where have you been silenced? Where have social media companies deplatformed you? Where's any of this happening? Man, his neighbors ought to be so glad he is out of the neighborhood. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, so this is what we're doing.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I want to go back to Liberal Larry here for just a second. This is a guy, pasty, white, 60-year-old man. Looks like he might do yoga. I don't know. I just said that. Leaving America. And I want you to listen to the reasons why he says he is leaving the United States. Here's Liberal Larry, just about to cross the border into Canada.
We just feel so scrutinized and so silenced and so being portrayed as enemies within and being portrayed as domestic terrorists.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at this news story.
All right, breaking news, top of the new hour here, and another threat of political violence in America. The FBI making an arrest in a chilling murder-for-hire plot targeting Attorney General Pam Bondi. We are learning brand new details at this hour. Welcome back as America Reports heads into hour 2. I'm Sandra Smith in New York.
Scary stuff, Sandra. I'm John Roberts in Washington. The 29-year-old Minnesota man is accused of putting out a $45,000 hit on the Attorney General. It all started on TikTok when a post with the bounty started going viral before setting off a swift federal investigation.
And the suspect's rap sheet is long, and his online activity reveals ties to anarchist symbolism and anti-government literature.
Our justice correspondent David Spunt live here in Washington. What else are we learning, David, about the suspect?
Well, John, he is charged with threatening Attorney General Bondi in a TikTok post. According to authorities in this affidavit that we just saw a couple of hours ago, unsealed recently, he allegedly offered a $45,000 bounty. In the post, there's a photo, and this was on TikTok, a photo of the Attorney General with a sniper red dot, and it reads, "Wanted Pam Bondi, reward $45,000, dead or alive, preferably dead." That's a quote. He is in custody. Additionally, his TikTok page had anarchist symbols, according to the...
So why, Liberal Larry, why do you think you're being described as the enemy within? Well, let's just go back and look. You know, we always hear about right-wing violence. Oh, we got to do, Charlie, we got to do something about this right-wing violence. Where is it? Where's this right-wing violence that you guys keep talking about? Is it right-wing violence in Chicago? No. Portland? No. Chicago? No. Show me where all this right-wing violence is happening. Because I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a bunch of trans shooters out there. I'm seeing a bunch of assassination attempts. I'm seeing an assassination of Charlie Kirk. 2 attempts on President Trump's life. Were those right-wingers? This is the ideology that these people put forward. Sorry, Liberal Larry, but you guys are you guys are the ones that are doing it. So over on X, there was a guy under the handle Jinko Unchained. Jinko Unchained. I want to tell you what this guy posted on the now deleted or banned Twitter account. If I see any children dressed up in some MAGA-type costume, like this little worm, and it's got a picture of a kid in a Make America Great Again hat. If I see any children dressed up in some MAGA-type costume, like this little worm, I'm going to be giving them my special fentanyl-laced candy. Hashtag Antifa action. Really? Now, where's this violence coming from, Liberal Larry? Where's it coming from? It's not coming from us. We're not the ones that are out there. We're not the ones out there threatening to poison liberal children. We're not doing it. Listen, I don't know what you guys have planned for Halloween, but I'm going to tell you right now, we live in dangerous times, and there are dangerous people. You should only go to homes where you know those people. Only do that. And yes, make sure you check your children's candy. If anything looks off, if anything doesn't look quite right, do away with it. Let's go to Chuck in Mills River and talk to him. Chuck, welcome, my friend.
Man, I hate to go from Halloween candy to Halloween scary. The fingernail chick, was it Nakira?
Yeah, something like that. Nakira, Nikita, something like that. So let's refresh this. Let's go back and revisit this. So earlier in the program, y'all, had a caller who's got, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
3 kids.
3 kids.
Yep.
Make $65,000 a year. What? $25? Man, you wrote
You
it
did
up.
the math, right?
JJ,
You
no,
did the
I don't
math,
have to.
right?
I got JJ. JJ wrote it all down. he's on the ball, man.
JJ's the man.
Yes, he is. She gets $25 an hour, 35 hours a week. Okay. And she is upset that people don't like the fact that she is on SNAP benefits and goes to get her nails done with the money that she's got left over because of the SNAP benefits. So that's where we are.
I was going to call right then and there, but I decided I'd wait till after 6 this week. I'm not hunting today, so I just
too rainy.
I had to call in on this, man, because she obviously doesn't live in Western North Carolina, because them fingernails would be all dirty, gritty.
Right.
We're still moving stuff from Helene, but let me just say, man, 3 kids. I don't know how old she was or is or whatever, but I mean, my wife and I next month will be together. We'll have been married 28 years, been together 31 years. You know how many kids we got?
How many?
We got 1, Charlie. 1.
Yeah.
And you spoke to him on the radio that one day.
That's
He told
right.
me I could smell deer before I could see him.
Yeah.
The reason why we have him is because we planned for him. Actually, we planned not to have him for years. And then when we decided, well, hey, let's have a kid. Guess what we did? We had a kid.
Yeah.
We didn't have other kids. And the other thing is I'm wondering how many men have been, and it's not that it's any of my business who you sleep with, but it is my business if I got to pay for the kids.
Yeah. Where are the dad? I mean,
It's
notice she didn't talk about any money that she was getting from, we'll assume, the father. No.
At all. And you know she's getting some. You know, and I mean money. Well,
Yeah.
and, well,
Right.
never
Well,
mind. I ain't going to go
there you
there. But listen, people out, I've never taken, I've taken unemployment a couple of times, and my son went to charter school, so that was public school, so it was public money.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I do not take money from GovCo because too many strings attached, number one. And number two, I'm not a beggar. I am not a
But here's the
thief
thing,
of
Chuck.
the public.
She said she had leftover money, so she was going to go
Yeah,
get her
what's that?
nails done. Yeah, right. What's that? But
What-
here's
what's
wouldn't-
leftover
wouldn't the
money,
wise
man?
thing. The wise thing to do, number one, make sure all of your kids' needs are taken care of. Every single one of them. Number
I
two,
wanna- dude, I was
put
yelling at the
something
radio. I'm sorry.
aside. Put something aside for a rainy day. You never know when something's going to break down or tear up or, whatever. That money should be going to something else, not getting your nails done. That's a luxury.
And what is it with these nails these people got, man? They
I
look
don't
like
know.
They could,
I have
they
no
could
idea.
Spear an olive out of a martini glass. Man.
I have no idea.
I don't get it, and it's a lot of money, dude. It's a lot of
Yeah.
money, and the reason why our son is in college is, I mean, my dad helped out when he passed away. He left a little bit of money. We've been putting money back. That leftover money. My wife didn't get her nails done. I play guitar, so I don't need my nails done.
Right.
But in the end, we sacrificed so much, and we just got one kid. And we sacrificed so much. And yes, we went out and ate out from time to time, and we treated ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Nails?
Nah.
Fingernails?
Nah,
It's like
that's a
Cardi
luxury.
B. You remember when Cardi B interviewed Joe Biden?
Yeah.
If you look that thing up, when she talks about washing her butt.
I don't even
Fingernails.
want to know. I don't even want to know,
True
Chuck.
story.
I know.
Thanks for calling, buddy. Have
I
a good one.
appreciate it, pal. So, Charlie, this is according to this over on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Charlie, did I hear correctly that you get SNAP benefits making $65,000 a year? Yup. If you got 3 kids, You sure do. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, we don't usually do this, but we've got Nakira calling back to talk about her phone call from earlier. So let's just set the stage. Nakira, welcome back. You make $65,000.
Yes, hello.
Hello. You make $65,000 a year. You got 3 kids. You get your nails done. And a lot of people.
No, Charlie, you're getting it wrong. That is not what I said.
What did you
Can
say?
we go back and I said that the income for my household, my household is 4 people. It's myself and my 3 children.
Right.
So as long as you make, I think it's like $66,000 or less, you are eligible to get SNAP benefits for that household size. I did not say I make $65,000.
JJ?
I said that is the, okay, so $25 times 35 is $875. That's $3,500 a month. 35 times 12 is what, like 43,000.
Okay, but.
So that's,
all right, so that's fine. That's fine. But
no, that's not. But
no, wait a minute.
This is my thing, though.
Both JJ and I
like
thought
that,
you said that you made $65,000 a year.
No.
Okay,
that wasn't the case. I was saying that the income limit was
you.
that.
Okay.
But my whole thing is that why are you guys acting like I said that I do not put my children first? I just said that it is okay for single moms, single dads every once in a while to treat themselves. That's all I said. My kids' needs 100% comes first.
Okay.
I have one baby daddy. The father of my children is one person.
Okay.
We were together for years.
Good to hear.
I do not get any type of child support from him yet because we are still going through courts, still going through all of that. If anybody knows, it could take years for me to even receive anything from him.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I hope you get something. Hope you get something.
I hope I get something too, but for my sake, if I want to go get my nails done on my birthday, once or twice a year or something like that, that I should be able to do that.
Okay,
and
but
I should be able to do that without people
original
coming down my throat.
Well, your original call was just that you couldn't understand why people got upset that if you were in line at Costco or wherever you are getting your groceries and you pay with an EBT card and you go out and get your nails done, you couldn't understand why people would get upset with that.
No, I'm specifically was saying every once in a while. I never said like people that get it done on the regular. I don't think that's right either. You shouldn't be getting your nails, toes done, hair done on the regular. But you took a lot of the things I said out of context, and then you kept saying, "Oh, well, maybe she should save money." Do you think I don't save any money? You don't think
I don't
that I do
know,
things for my
Nakira.
children?
We did not get into all of that.
So why would you speak about me like that's what we talked about then?
Because
you didn't ask me about my baby father.
JJ,
you did not ask me what I do with my savings
I have to talk.
any of that.
I have to talk to my producer. JJ, was what I just said what you heard as well?
Yes.
Yes. JJ says yes. So, I don't think I was wrong in the situation that you portrayed here on the radio. And even callers were asking.
My voice is for single mothers, single dads.
Sure.
For just because we get EBT or something like that does not mean that we're the guy before me. The caller said, "Yeah, we go out to eat everyone. That we're treating ourselves." So if I know how to cook and I can feed my kids at home a restaurant meal, we don't need to go out to eat.
Okay.
If all my kids' needs are met, and every once in a while I want to do something for myself because I take care of 3 children by myself, and that's not even for anyone to feel bad. That's just my situation. I'm owning up to that. It was my fault that I'm even in this position. I don't think it's right that people misuse the benefits that they get, but to say and to critique people that want to go do something for themselves every once in a while just because they're on EBT, that's very wrong. And yeah, that's the point that I was making.
Well, Nakira, I think we agree on a lot more than we disagree on.
I would like to think that, Charlie, but you were roasting me. I was like, dang, he going in on me and everybody else going in on me too.
Well, I tell you what, Nakira, I appreciate you calling back and having the courage to do that. And I wish nothing but the best for you and your kids. How old are they?
Thank you, sir. They're 9, 5, and 4.
9, 5, and 4. You got your hands full. Well, we wish you all the best, Nakira. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. So there you go. There's Nakira explaining her situation once again. So we will leave it at that. All right, 800-9050-989. That's the Common Sense. No, that's the WRD talk line. And it is also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. If you ever want to email me, it's charlie@989WORD. Earlier this evening, I asked for 10. People to follow me over on Twitter. So far, I've gotten 51. 51 people following me over on Twitter. If you would like to do that, you can certainly, I'd love to have you at Charlie on Air. That's at Charlie on Air. I'm finally over the 6,000 mark, and I'll be honest with you. As far as social media is concerned, I get a little lazy. I really like to focus on the show that's going on the air. So but I promise you, I'm working on some stuff to get better at my social media presence. All right. So look for big things coming up. All right. Big things coming up. Don't want to miss out on that. Let's go to Richard in Dallas and talk to him. Richard, what's going on, my friend?
Charlie, man, that's what you get for ruffling the feathers of a feisty black woman.
I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. You're right about that. I appreciate it. Well, Richard didn't hang around long. You see what he did, JJ? He came in, dropped a bomb, and left. He didn't want to rankle any feathers either. He knows better than that. Richard ain't no dummy out there. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. All right, what else we got going on? Well, we got tomorrow will be day 28 of the government shutdown. Chuck Schumer was on the floor of the Senate today criticizing Donald Trump in Malaysia. And because Donald Trump was dancing, there was a bunch of dancers welcoming him to Malaysia, and Donald Trump did the YMCA type of a dance. It was great. If you haven't seen that online, definitely do that. All right, folks, y'all be careful out there. It's a wet, rainy one. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, we love you. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.